Hi folks, and welcome back to another fly tying tutorial. The fly you see in the vise is designed for the concrete bowl fisheries and back drifting during the colder winter months. So without further ado, let's get into it. The hook in the vise is a Hanak H970 barbless hook. This one's at size 10. As you can see, it's a long shank hook finished in black nickel and it's on a heavy shank. Now, the thread I'm going to be using today is from Simplify. It's Nano Silk at 3/0. So, the first thing I'm going to do, as always with the shiny black nickel hooks, I'm going to get a touch of super glue onto the shank of the hook. Now this the thread I'm using here, it's quite heavy, and it's because it's a big fly and I don't need to worry about the subtleties of thinner thread. The next thing to go on then is the black marabou tail, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a healthy chunk from this stem and I'm just going to peel it down the stalk, just folding it as it goes until I've got the required amount of marabou off the stem. Now these feathers at the end, this really fine fibres, that's what I want in the fly. So what I'm going to do is come up, I'm going to get my length right, and it wants to be around twice the length of the hook shank, and then I can come in over my wastebasket and remove the excess feather. Now I'm going to bring my thread all the way back up to the top. I'm going to give myself plenty of room at the front because that's where the booby eyes and stuff are going to be tied in, and then I can clamp down. Because I'm using 200 denier nano silk, there is no I've got more danger of bending the hook out than I have of snapping this thread. So I'm going to come all the way just past the point, and with marabou, the long tail, I just like to get a couple of turns in behind the marabou itself. Now I'm going to have runners on this fly, and I'm using some micro glint. It's very thin. The only thing I would say about this material is it's quite delicate. So what I want to do with it is not put any stretch or pressure on it. I'll tie in your side first. But if you start pulling at it, it does stretch and it loses its appeal, shall we say. It goes a bit funny, and I'm just putting out too much pressure on it even then, just bringing it over the bar of the hook there because I'm ham-fisted. So I've caught that in next. Now I can trim my runners to the length I want them, and I want them in line really with my tail. That one on your sides, not too bad. Keep them nice and even. And then just to get everything out the way here, I'm going to damp my thumb and forefinger in my left hand and just damp down the fly. Now it's looking a little bit long, so I'm just going to come in and pinch away the very ends of the feather, and that's looking not too shabby. So next thing I'm going to tie in a rib. It's a silver wire rib at 0.1 millimeters, and that goes on next. Now once I've cut that rib in, I can simply come back to the butt of the fly. Now these flies, they're of a theme, I suppose. Woolly bugger is the theme of this one, and they're all different. You can cobble together pretty much anything and get a trout to take it, and at this time of year this fly is going to be designed for going to a reservoir quite close to me actually, Farmoor, which is near Oxford, and it can be great for winter boat fishing. If conditions allow, you can fish out the front of the boat like you would normal loch style with fast sinking lines, and if conditions don't allow, they allow you to back drift there, and I made a video on that. It's not the most exciting way of fishing, but if you need to just get your line tugged, it's certainly worth a visit to Farmoor. They have some fantastic fish in there, and it can be a very pleasant day out, especially if you've got some company. Great way of spending a day with a buddy on the water. And if you would like to see more about back drifting, I'll link that video up in the top right hand corner of your screen. I might try and get myself up there before Christmas for a bit of sport. So that's my body done. Now before I catch in my hackle, I'm just going to locate my little dubbing brush here and just scruff that out ever so slightly. Doesn't take much. Next thing then is the palmer feather, and I'm using a feather from this cape. As you can see, it's quite a dark blue colour. Have I had much success with blue in the past? Well, I can't say I have, but I'm determined to make it work. I just thought it would look nice on this particular fly. Normally I would have just tied a black hackle, but I just thought I'd see how it looks and give it a go. So I'm going to grab the feather with my hackle pliers, get a turn all the way round the shank of the hook. I'm going to just pull that back a bit, and then in nice open turns I can bring my blue palmer hackle around. Now in the video that I made about back drifting at Farmoor, I asked the question, is it fly fishing? I'd be interested, if you do get a chance to have a look at that video, I'd be interested in your opinions. You know, is it really fly fishing, or is it just trawling? I think it's just trawling personally, but you know, if you enjoy it, or you're maybe not able to cast a lot because of your age or an injury, then it might well be a way of still getting out and enjoying fly fishing per se, without making a further injury to your body. And as I get older myself, I'm certainly feeling that. So I've just wound away the wire. I'm going to, whoops, I've snapped off my feather. Never do that if you can help it, because it will not help your cause. It just makes it a bit weaker at the point there, at the point where it's connected to the wire. Now I could just come in and tie in my booby eyes, but I want to add just another layer of complexity to this fly, just because I can. So I've got a hen hackle here, and I'm going to catch that in at the tip. And the whole idea really is it's about movement. You know, it's going to get plenty of movement anyway with the size of the eyes I'm going to tie in, but it never hurts to have soft feathers that are going to get movement on the hackle. Now the blue's trying to get in on the act there, so I'll just try and push that out the way. Bear with me while I tidy this up a bit. So I've caught that in, I'm going to clamp right down on it. And then I've left myself quite a long handle, so no need for hackle pliers this time round. And I'm just going to ease the fibres backwards. Now I've never tried this, but I tied up a fly for Farmoor for the video, that particular video, thinking, oh well, I'll give it a go and see if it's any good, and it ended up being one of the, I use it now all the time, even when I go to Rutland and Grapham and fishing out the front of the boat. It's just super effective. And again, if you'd like to check that fly out, I will link it at the end of this video. So I've got a few wraps in there. I know it looks like a hot mess at the minute, but don't worry, it'll all come good. I'll just damp down my thumb and forefinger, and I'm going to clamp that down. Now you see I've left quite a lot of space here at the front, then I can just simply pull that away. And that's looking not too bad. Now before I come in with the nasty bit, I'm just going to get my toothbrush and run it through. What this does is separate the hackle fibres, and if the fibres are separated in the water, they'll just flow out and give you lots of movement. So there we go. Now the booby eyes again. I seem to be linking to a lot of videos today, but if you're not sure how I get this TicToc in the top right hand corner of your screen, I'll put a video of how I get to this point. So I'm going to just catch that in, check I've got it central, 2 turns, and then I can bring my booby eyes on top of the fly. Once I've got it into place, I'm going to just get 3 turns with 200 denier. You don't need much more than that. It's quite thick. If you want to conserve your thread. And then once I've got it tied in, I'm going to get 2 or 3 turns to the front of the hook. And then I can come in and whip finish. Now, I'm not generally a betting man, but I would bet that this is going to catch me 1 or 2 trout when I take it up to Farmoor. Now, to finish off the fly, a little bit of super glue in between the booby eyes. That'll soak down into the thread, and then I'm going to come underneath and just get a little bit onto my thread wraps underneath the booby eyes, and I'll just show you that now. So the best way of fishing this fly, I would suggest that you only fish one of these, and you can put it on a leader between 6 to 10 feet on a really fast sinking line. Cast into the wind as best you can and let the boat and the wind do the rest of the work. Just hang on to your rod, because they can be really harsh takes and you might lose them if you've not got a proper grip. There we go. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.